You will need to sacrifice if you are actually going to win. So, what does sacrifice really mean? It means that there are two key things that you are going to have to be committed to, which is diligence and delayed gratification. So, what is diligence? Diligence is the ability to continue in a pursuit, irregardless of past disappointment. Meaning, we're going to be diligent. We're going to be diligent because what? To succeed is always you're going to have to sacrifice something. What? The pursuit of diligence is sacrificing what? Comfort, sacrificing familiarity, sacrificing some relationships, sacrificing bad habits, sacrificing old ideas, sacrificing my ego is what a diligent man or woman does. And then what's the next thing? Delayed gratification. That's what you're going to need to go from sacrifice to success. You're going to have to delay some things, which is you're not going to be able to buy that house now. You're not going to be able to buy the car right now. You're not going to be able to go on that trip right now. But guess what? If I will temporarily allow myself to not have my comfort, it is going to create generational wealth for my children's children. Why? So they don't have to pay the price. Because as a first generation, somebody gonna have to do it. Anything of wealth that you see, their forefathers, 99 times out of 100, created the foundation of what? Diligence. They created the foundation of understanding delayed gratification, which they now taught to their children's children. And they were able to take, right, those beliefs and value systems to level up. And now they start life as a 3-year-old with that same mentality. And now they're able to level up one step at a time, right? So the journey of success and the sacrifice that it's going to require really is rooted in your ability to be diligent and your ability to delay your gratification. And there's nothing else in this thing called life that works. You look at the things you eat, the things you buy, the things you wear, the things you drive. Good sir, every one of those enterprises required massive struggle, massive delayed gratification. Still does even to this day. But guess what? They've overcome it through the process of time. For those of you who know me, I am an avid, exotic car guy, right? Not a collector yet, because you got to have, 10 or more in my mind to be a collector. But I'm on my way there. And the interesting thing about what I enjoy most about exotic cars actually has nothing to do of what you think. It has nothing to do with status symbol. To me, it is art on wheels. It's the beauty. It's the legacy. It's the history. It's the grind. You look at a Ferrari, right, which is seen as the most valuable car in history. Where does that come from? It comes in its scarcity, meaning its limited inventory, right? The law of economics, supply and demand. But it is because it has had one of the most troubled journeys to reach the mountaintop of automotive supremacy. Why? Because when you look at the original founder of Ferrari, he experienced over 20 years of hardship. Number one, when he started the company, and I don't remember the exact history, so I'm a little vague. So for the purists who know it, comment below. The first version of it went bankrupt, where he was in some sort of disagreement with his partners. He then had to create, even though it was his last name, Ferrari, he had to operate for an extended period of time, a whole nother car company, where other people were building out the Ferrari brand that he wasn't a part of, that was his original vision, that bore his last name. And yet, due to a non-compete clause, he had to build out some other brand. Don't even remember what the name of it is. So then once that happens, he somehow reclaims Ferrari. But then during the war, his factory is bombed. So he has to start over again for like a third time. Then, mind you, he's able to rebound, still on the struggle bus. The factory is bombed a second time. Now we at imminent, absolute, utter failure a fourth time. Then, once he rebounds from that, he starts to have marital issues. There's a great movie, about this. So that's probably a better take on this story that I'm doing a bad job of telling. He then, pursuing a wife and a mistress, that starts to create ruffle. He has a one of his race car drivers that dies in a crash. It was an absolute tragedy. Believe the race car ran over a piece of shrapnel and the car flips. His wife then literally sells or liquidates a significant portion of his financial resources, fearing that the company is going to go bankrupt due to the accident, only for him to still press through to then, I believe, in the early 1960s, to make what is seen as by many to be the greatest exotic sports car ever made. That car, as I understand, which was the first time in almost 20 years for him to experience success, now sells at $30-40 million a car. What is it that makes it valuable? It's that the sacrifice that that success requires, the diligence and the delayed gratification that Ferrari now recognizes, is no different than the process of how a diamond is made. A diamond is formed over billions of years, 1 to 2 billion years of immense pressure. That sounds like diligence to me. That sounds like delayed gratification to me. And it is through that process that it moves up through the soil to where it's now found. But guess what? It don't stop there, folks. Have you ever taken the time to see what a raw diamond looks like? It's very raw. It looks like just a see-through, ugly rock. And yet it is when you polish it and cut it, that it becomes that priceless diamond that we now know of. So why do we think, when we look at the reality of every brand that you patronize started off on a struggle bus, but what did they do? They were diligent. They had an understanding of delayed gratification, that what I'm building now is going to be far greater than the cost to me now, because that is temporary. But you got to keep going. You can't quit. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep failing forward. As I shared in a previous episode, F standing for you figure it out. A is you need another at bat. I means you need an idea, God idea. L meaning you need love, meaning you got to love the journey. You got to love the process, because it is when I figure it out long enough and keep having enough at bats and have an idea, God idea, and I love the journey and process, that through diligence and delayed gratification, I will go from sacrifice to success. That's never going to change. That is the evolution and the law of life and everything that you love. And me and you are going to have to realize that the things that God deposited in our heart are evidence that we are supposed to have it. And it is proof positive. As my late and great mentor used to say, if you can see it in your mind, it is already the confirmation that it is yours. The great Walt Disney. What people don't realize is that Disney World as we know it now wasn't built until Walt Disney, or it wasn't completed, let me say, before he died. What those who knew Walt Disney learned about him is that he would sit on some little hillside, and for hours he would look at this barren, just open lot of land, dirt. And he would smile. And someone came and asked him and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm seeing the park. I'm seeing the rides. I'm hearing the laughter. I'm seeing the smiles." People thought he was crazy. He like, "You staring at dirt?" No. Walt Disney understood something powerful. That if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. He understood that God equipped us with mental imagination to envision not what we presently see, but to envision our future for what is possible, to motivate us to obtain it in reverse order. Every great vision is accomplished by seeing the end working in reverse order. To succeed, you're going to have to sacrifice. That sacrifice is going to cost you a heart and a spirit of diligence and delayed gratification, because if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. And if you, like a diamond, will embrace the process of the pressure, and then you will allow God to cut and refine, you'll have this beautiful diamond, which will be the foundation for your children's children. But somebody gonna have to pay the price. Why not you? In my opinion, I think one of the highest honors in anything great is to be the visionary or the inventor of it. Because guess what? Most of us worldwide, if I were to ask you one question, who invented the car? Just about everyone would know it's Henry Ford. But who invented the second car, the third, the fourth? I don't know. And I don't even care. Why? Because it was Henry Ford's vision, diligence, persistence, delayed gratification, sacrifice that made it possible. So history remembers, as it should, and honors those who laid the foundation. I would much rather be Henry Ford than the second, third, or fourth advent of whatever it is I'm pursuing. I mean, maybe that's somewhat ego-based, but I'm being real. I'm facking, ain't capping. At least I'm going to tell it to you straight, good, bad, or indifferent. So why not be that for your family? Why not be that for your children? Somebody got to do it. So get it done. As the founder, that's a hard pivot, but we're going to go there anyway. As the founder of Developer Nation, this is why we exist. This is why I exist. To educate you and equip you, to help you understand what it takes to build small and large scale developments. It's going to take a lot of grit, both personally and understanding how to lead and manage yourself, and how to lead, manage, and steward your wife, your children, your employees, so on and so forth, in order to accomplish this vision of being one of the most important things that exist in society, which is to be a builder of something. And so when you partner with us at Developer Nation, other than equipping you and educating you, we will now bring your project before our capital vendor partners, understanding what investments they make and what their past performance dictates to be the projects that they will finance, is to help you to learn to understand who to ask and how to ask. It's what you learn by being a part of Developer Nation. So join our community where, through group economics, we can love and co-labor together as a community to build a legacy for our children's children as we rinse and repeat the process all throughout the country. As always, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and even as it related to Developer Nation, click the link below where you will sign up to be notified when the app is launched. And as always, all things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purpose. I will see you in the next episode.